my triggers, knowing the things that set me off, I need to know that. The only way I know that is being honest with myself. Being honest with myself, not necessarily to have to broadcast it to the world, but being honest with myself to say, you know what? I know I do this when, right?
Blank. Yep.
So, Zakiya could tell you one of my biggest things to do that just allows me to decompress is I will walk around the store and shop.
Mhm.
And sometimes I just am browsing, putting stuff in a cart, and many times, I leave the cart right there.
Yes, you
But the
do.
process of just doing that just brings me down several notches,
Mhm.
right? But to know when I'm on 10.
Yeah, when you're dysregulated.
Yeah, know when I am not feeling myself.
Mhm.
Know when I am something we've been talking a lot more over the years, knowing that when something is bothering me, to talk about it and not in the vein of wanting to keep the peace,
Mhm.
right? Don't say anything, but it's written all over my face. My whole
Mhm.
countenance
Mhm.
tells you that
Mhm.
something is
Which
wrong.
is why I say, and I'm not gonna lie, I got this from somewhere on the internet, and it was worded so eloquently that I don't remember. Sorry, but that idea of avoiding the confrontation or the discussing things, you're not keeping the peace. You're maintaining the tension. Because even if the person doesn't know that you're upset, the tension is inside you,
Hmm.
right? You're feeling it in your body, your mind, the way that you're reacting as all that tension. So, one of the things, since we were talking about tools, is, and this one is hard for some people because it requires you to really sit in it, but kind of gauging where you feel some of those emotional reactions in your body, right? Is your chest beating really fast? Or you notice your heart rate is higher. I know my watch tells on me all the time. It'll be like your resting heart rate's a little higher than it's supposed to be. I'm like, yeah, I know. Makes just leave me alone.
Those
um,
technology devices, man.
or are your palms sweaty? Are you feeling this urge to get up and run?
Mm.
Do you feel the weight on your shoulders? Do you feel like you want to cry but you can't quite get the tears? What's happening to your body? Because just like you said before, your body is going to tell you, right? So what is my body doing? Because sometimes you don't know the why, but you can at least figure out, okay, well, how's it affecting me? And then you can go from there. And if you are not in therapy, which I suggest it for everyone, there are tools and there's information out there where you can say, well, I'm experiencing this or I'm feeling this. What is that? What could it possibly mean? Just like you do when you have an ailment and you want to figure out, if you need to go to the doctor. It's similar. You can
Hmm.
do things like that to give you a little information so that you know, okay, well, this is just how anxiety shows up sometimes. And anxiety doesn't mean, or doesn't have to mean that um, you struggle with anxiety and need to be medicated, but you might just be anxious, um, worried, unsure, uncertain, scared,
Hmm.
kind of like I said before, of the unknown, of the what ifs. Um, are you over functioning in moments when you really know you don't have it? That could be a sign of some depression. Like there are different things that happen and your body is going to tell you, but sometimes you have to just sit. And I'm not saying you have to meditate, but sometimes you need to just take a moment and say, like, hey, what's going on?
I don't know why people have this word around meditation, but the ability to pause and really just deep breath and get in tunes. We get caught up in names and
Mm-hmm.
labeling,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a common practice that's been done for ages around the world. And anyway, off my
And
soapbox.
are you taking deep breaths? Kind of with what you're
Yeah, because
saying, like,
remember I would tell you, I find myself shallow breathing,
mm-hmm.
like, And so I'm consciously aware that
Mhm.
I'm taking breath or find myself holding my breath.
Yeah, and so one of the, I guess, kind of the easiest ones for a lot of people to remember is like it's called a few different things: box breathing, or the 4-4-4, which is the taking an inhale through your nose for a count of four, holding on to that breath for a count of four, exhaling out of your mouth for a count of four. I usually recommend doing it 4 times, so it just keeps you in the realm of four, the 4-4-4-4. It's easier to remember. Um, it doesn't require a lot of effort, mental and emotional capacity effort, but you're able to kind of catch your breath, get that deep, real full breath that you're supposed to be having, and let it out. And I always say on that last one, kind of do a big, like real big exhale and shake it
Could we?
out when you're done. Yeah, like a real big, and kind of shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it,
Yes,
shake it.
like, can you all do that? Like, can we just all do a together, like, and just shake it out? Let's just shake it out, cause that statement about our awareness of ourselves and listening to our bodies, knowing who we are, being in tuned, um, listening to yourself,
Mhm.
tuning out a lot of the outside noise so that you can actually hear you. Sometimes we've been just so consumed with having to hear something else and we forget what silence sounds like.
Yeah, and some other things, some other tools. If you are someone that struggles with some anxiety, or maybe your nerves are bad, I know that's a lot of the older generation like saying my nerves are bad. That's anxiety, babes.
She calling us out. She calling
That's
us out.
anxiety. Your nerves are bad. You have anxiety. It's okay. It's okay.
Labels, Kia.
It's okay. But it's not so much about getting caught up in the label, because that's the same with, like I was talking about before, my ADHD diagnosis, right? It's not about the label, it's the knowing. You know what you're dealing with, so then you give it the correct medicine. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not because you need to say, "Oh, this is my label," and this is, but this is something that you struggle with, or something that you experience from time to time. Sometimes it's not it doesn't have to be your day-to-day life, but you experience it from time to time. How do I remedy it, right? So, a lot of times trying to do the breathing, if you're having an anxiety attack or a panic attack, trying to do the breathing first might make it worse. So I usually recommend, that's when I recommend a grounding exercise. Um, Something like, there's the one with the 5-4-3-2-1 method, where you're checking in with your senses. Um, and actually, before I explain that, the whole idea of a grounding exercise is to ground you in the present, right? So you're not thinking so much about a past, a future, the what ifs, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. It's bringing you back to now. So there's a lot of different grounding techniques and exercises that are helpful for people. One of the ones a lot of people tend to like is that 5-4-3-2-1. It's very easy to find online. If you look up grounding exercise, you can find an image of it, save it on your phone. So it's 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. And it tells you how to kind of go through it. And you're scanning the room. You can keep it in your mind so no one around you knows what you're doing if you want, but it helps kind of get you set in here. It's almost, think about I Spy, because you can even do I Spy. The same I Spy we used to play when we would take road trips, or be in the car for a while, or just something to do. When I've been sitting in a doctor's office waiting and I was nervous about getting a shot, the ice. It's just, think of I Spy, right? So you can even say, "I'm gonna point out all of the things in the room that are yellow, all the things in the room that are blue." You can do that too. You can do that with yourself to help get you regulated. It's essentially a distraction, but it's helpful. Or if you need kind of what I was explaining earlier, that physical grounding, you sit down somewhere, sit down on the floor. If you're in a space where you're safe to do so, you can absolutely do that. There's a few different things that you can do in those moments. I always ask my I always ask my clients, and then I have my friends and family ask me this back. But like, what are you doing to pour into you, right? So much of the time, and I think we can kind of circle this back to moms for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So much of the time we are pouring out, right? You're pouring out of your cup, pouring out of your cup, pouring out of your cup, and everybody says, "Oh, you can't pour from an empty cup," but nobody thinks about, okay, well, how do I refill it? And it's not just about the people around you who are supposed to pour into you as well,
Mm-hmm.
because I think sometimes we rely too much on the people around us
Yep.
to pour back into us. What are you doing to pour into yourself? What are the activities that you do that you know make you feel good? Sometimes it is binge watching that show that you really enjoy. Doesn't mean you do that all the time every day. No, but sometimes you need that afternoon to be like, you know what, I'm gonna put on my show and I'm gonna laugh and I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna get my water, get my little snack, and chill right here and watch my show. Sometimes it's music. Um, I know that's me. I will throw on a musical. I will throw on a album that I'm really enjoying because I'm the type to listen to an album from start to finish if I really like it. And I'm just gonna put it on, and I'm either gonna dance around my house. Maybe I'm gonna clean a little bit, but not anything too strenuous. But to release it, and sometimes you just need to dance. You need to move. You need to move your body a little bit. Um, there's so many tools that are just everyday things. You don't need to look in a textbook or ask a professional per se for what those tools. Some of them we already do them. You just don't realize it. One of the things, even the internet is talking about how the world is falling apart, and all the black people are learning boots on the ground. Hilarious. But we find joy in community and dancing and music and excitement. Use that.
It's part of our resilience mechanism. Um, I've shared that in several community events that there's a reason for all the trauma and stuff that we've endured as a people,
Mm-hmm.
that we've been able to remain resilient and still be able to create, to laugh, to build, to nurture families, to fight, to
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason, because in the middle of the chaos we laugh, we dance, we prayed, we sang,
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment is part of how we not just communicate our struggle or but it's how we encourage ourselves, how we tell our story, how we uplift each other. It's how we, um, you know, how we just maintain, because just sitting too much in the madness, I think it is important that we are balancing learning boots on the ground or whatever it is we doing, or the Kendrick Lamar song that I see everybody has a little dance to it, whatever. um I just think sometimes we are spending way too much time judging things that don't need to be judged. um,
Mm-hmm.
and we are sometimes allowing people to um, label or redirect strategies that have worked for us. Nobody knows us better than us,
Yep.
and so
That part.
yeah, no, everyone. There's so many people can empathize,
Mm-hmm.
but you will not walk in this skin
Mm-hmm.
that we can't exchange. We can't
Yeah.
camouflage it. We
You could
can't
have been
blend it.
you could be walking side to side with someone and having two very different experiences.
Yes.
That's why, you can have siblings grow up in the same household
Right.
and have completely different outlooks and outcomes to their life, because we could all be right here, but we're experiencing things a different way. And even even experiences as moms, experiences with family, we all are experiencing things from a different angle. Our perception is our reality. And so we have to acknowledge that.
I would like, as we're winding down,
Mm-hmm.
from your perspective as a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
talk to us moms. Talk to us moms from your perspective on um, what you've seen and some thoughts on recommendations for us. Your observation, moms, me, um, I have seen. I know for me, I've seen you um, step in and take authority
Mhm.
when I was struggling to take authority in a situation.
Mhm.
I've seen you um, hold space in situations. I've seen you navigate. Even when we learned about your ADHD, I know for me, it was like, well, how did I not know that my child needed this? You know,
Mhm.
and so many times as parents, we have this ideology that we're supposed to be perfect,
Mhm.
and that we, and I would say to you, you know, I'm not. I'm not
Mhm.
perfect. I'm gonna fall short. I'm gonna make mistakes. Um, we've always talked about, that there would be times that I may be disappointed. I may be upset. I may be hurt or whatever by a decision or action that you've made. But
Mhm.
there's a constant thing you're always gonna know. I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna be there.
Mhm.
That's grounding, right?
Mhm.
And I had to I had to give myself grace
Mhm.
to understand that I didn't know. I didn't know what the signs were. I didn't know to look for it. I didn't.
Mhm.
But as we come into awareness of things, that's an opportunity for us to learn, for us to grow. And that's why us always constantly learning and seeking out information, and not to make the statement that this is who I am and that's it, because we're always growing, we're
Yep.
always evolving, we're
Mhm.
always changing. I'm coming into a new awareness of things. And
Mhm.
so even right now, as I am working on this whole mindset shift on slowing down and being more intentional about my actions and how I'm living my life, that I'm seeing opportunities to embrace it, and I'm seeing so many different tentacles to live it.
Yep.
And I'm thankful. And at the same time, finding myself sometimes a little bit the busiest I've been in a long time.
Yeah. You don't say.
Yeah. All at the same time.
I've noticed. um. So the first thing I would say is, I'm gonna look at the camera for this one. We all make the best decision with the information we have at the time. And when I say information, I don't just mean knowledge, as far as like, oh, the facts. I also mean the emotions that come with a decision, the pros and cons that come with the decision, the unknowns even about the decision, the things that you know that you don't know. We make the best decision, or at least most of us try to. And that's what I would say to moms in general. You made the best decision with the information you had at the time. Whether it was what you were taught from previous generations about how to show up as a woman and as a mom, or what you were taught not to do, or what you wanted to do differently. All the things that you decided, this is what you made the best with what you've had. And does that mean that sometimes that best wasn't exactly what was needed? Sure. But as long as you know that you showed up and you did what you could,
Yeah.
I'd say take that. And it's very easy to get defensive when your children come to you and say, hey, you missed the mark here. Hey, you don't understand what I'm explaining because you just don't care. It's very easy to get defensive. But what I want you to consider is it's not an attack on you. It's not the intent. They just want to be heard. They just want to be understood. They just want you to understand the things that you did, even though it was your best. This is how it impacted me. because sometimes the best intentions make the make harmful impacts,
Absolutely.
right? And so, it's not for you to be ashamed or to feel like, hey, I missed something. I didn't see that my child needed this, or I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to offer. It's for you to say, okay, I missed the mark here, but how can I show up now?
Right.
Because while motherhood changes as your children age, you don't stop being a mom.
Nope.
You don't stop being a mom. You will always be their mom if
Hmm.
they allow you to be a part of their life. But some of that has a lot to do with how you show up today.
Yep.
And if you are willing to give yourself grace and acknowledge, hey, I know I didn't always get it right, but I did what I could when I had it with what I had. Now, how can I show up for you in today?
Hmm.
Because if you're still holding on to, oh, well, this is what I had in 1995 and da 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 da. Okay, that's cool. But in 2025, what do you have? What new knowledge have you gained and how can you apply it
Hmm.
for yourself
Hmm.
and for your loved ones?
Hmm. Absolutely. Hmm. Give ourselves some more grace.
And be willing to listen and to learn and to grow and know that there has been changes,
Hmm.
and just like I said, just because something was always done one way doesn't mean it was right, but it also doesn't always mean it was wrong.
Right.
It was what made sense in the moment,
Yeah.
but now the moment has changed.
Yeah.
And so how do we adjust based on the change?
If we can just expect and understand that change is happening
It's
continually, it
inevitable.
doesn't stop.
Mhm.
No one moment is the same,
Mhm.
right? We are constantly growing and evolving. And if we can just acknowledge that and stop with the comment, oh, you've changed, I'm supposed to,
Absolutely.
right? Or, sometimes we're looking like, oh, how did you get so big? It's called growing, you know? If we can just embrace what this means, this thing called living, this
Mhm.
beautiful, wonderful experience we get as a mom, you get to be that part of that curation of life. You get to be part of this awesome experience of
Yeah.
nurturing and loving another human being,
Yep.
of bringing guidance and support and protection and being the motivator and the confidant and all the
Mhm.
roles that we play as a mom. um, it is so important for the world when we do it with the grace and the commitment and the poise and from a place of love.
Cuz that's your job.
If you just started from there, just from that place
Mhm.
of love.
That's the first part of the job description, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the first line item in the job description. Love.
Yeah.
A lot of the other things you learn along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we can just learn to do a lot more um, loving. And that means when I love, um, I will bring you knowledge, experience, insight, but I'm going to also bring you correction. In loving, I am going to be able to say, give my perspective, give my insight. I'm also going to be able to provide that level of guidance. I'm also going to be able to say, okay, let me share with you what this action and um, I think the word that I didn't hear us put in our conversation when we were talking about is we got to give context, right?
Mhm.
So many times in our communication, we fail to give context so people better understand. And I really, and especially this generation of young people,
Which
uh,
generation? There's a lot of them now.
I know, but I'm watching.
Depends on what age group we're talking, because we got Gen Z and Gen Alpha.
So I'm watching the elementary, middle, high school,
Okay, that's still a mix of two
all a
generations.
mix, right?
Yeah,
But
that's Alpha and the younger Gen
I'm
Z, I believe.
watching them all ask for more context.
Mhm.
They're expecting it. Don't just tell me. I need some context. And I think
So interesting. They're asking for context in a time when they're trying to remove context, but that's a conversation
I
for
know that's a whole
another
nother
day.
conversation. Um, it is Mother's Day.
Yes.
And I would like to say that the role and the honor of motherhood is a daily thing. And I appreciate the day that's been identified, selected, set aside for us to shine the spotlight on mothers and to honor mothers in all the various forms that they take. We're thankful for the mothers. I'm thankful for all the people who have came along to help mother me. I'm thankful for them, for the love that they have given. I'm thankful for the examples that they've set. Um, I am who I am because of the sum total of all those people who
Absolutely.
poured out from themselves, sometimes what they didn't have to give, but they still gave it unconditionally with love. And so each day I walk and I show up, I think about those people who have touched my life, those people who are gone but not forgotten because they walk with me each and every day. And as difficult as days like today is, when we love people, and when we are walking this thing called being a human being and living, it means we carry the pain of what love and truly loving others mean. And that means we walk with the loss of their absence,
Yeah.
right? We feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And for as long as we are still here and for as long as we still have breath, role, my desire is how do I honor them by how I live
Yeah.
each day, how I walk, how I show up. Um, and so today and each day, I am seeking to be the better version each day. I'm making the effort each day to how could I be better than I was yesterday. And that's what I'm encouraging each and every one of you to do. Not seek perfection because perfection does not exist,
No, it doesn't.
but to just make the effort, have the desire that I want to love. And I'm going to start by first loving me. And when I take the moments to slow down, whether it's on a Sunday or any day, any moments you take to just pause and to be present and to give yourself the present, give yourself the gift of feeling and living and embracing life to its fullest, that you are truly giving a gift to others. Because when I take care of me, I think about you. And when I don't do a good job of taking care of me, I'm thinking about you. And so I'm inviting us to do that um, more. And so to my mothers and all the mothers, um, happy Mother's Day. But every day is your day. Take every day as a day to love, to celebrate. Buy yourself the rose, do the pampering. Don't just
Mm-hmm.
wait for a special moment.
Mm-hmm.
Live what it means to honor and cherish people and honor and cherish yourself daily. It doesn't have to be extravagant,
No,
but just even in the simplest things, take care of yourself.
absolutely.
That's what my invitation to you as I bring you slow it down. Just love you a little bit more as I'm learning to love me a little bit more and honor the commitments I've made to myself.
I like it. Sounds good to me.
This is Arlene Connelly-Drummond, and I had the pleasure of sharing and slow it down Sundays with my precious daughter, Zakia Becca. And I am so proud of her. And you heard her wisdom, you heard her voice, you heard the excellence that's her. And I'm just excited that I got to share that with you all.
In a
Uh,
way, they heard your voice because just like you are who you are because of all those who mothered you, I am who I am because of all those who have mothered me, including and mostly you. Okay.
well, I think it's been my honor. So, this is Slow It Down Sundays, and I am Arlene Connelly-Drummond, your stride coach, and I invite you to share, like, subscribe, and invite others to join us in this sacred space where together we are learning, we are growing, we are evolving, and we are committing to living life with more intentionality, with more love, with more grace and more passion. So we will see you, and hopefully I can encourage Zakia to join me on another episode. See you next Sunday on Slow It Down Sunday. Anything you want to say?
No. See you next time if there is a next time.
I'll try to get her. We'll see what the ratings say. They're going to say, bring her back, bring her back, bring her back. Giving also special thanks to our producer, my dear husband, Michael Drummond from Technicom Media Group, and thank you for producing our show. See you next Sunday on Slow It Down Sundays.